Well, hey folks, and welcome to Solar Cabin Channel. I've got what I hope is an interesting and informative video for you today. As many of you know, I live off-grid full-time. I have lived for over 20 years now in my hand-built cabin with just a small solar power system. And it has worked great. Everything is powered up at my house and no problems there most of the time. But just like a grid-tied home or any home, occasionally we can have 3 or 4 days of real low sunshine. And when that happens, my main system, which is only 400 watts, can sometimes run low on power. You would call that a blackout. Okay. Now, grid homes, they're a lot more prone to blackouts than an off-grid cabin like mine is. That rarely happens when I have no power. However, it does happen occasionally, especially in winter, and it's winter time here now. And when that happens, then, if I don't have a backup system, I have to rely on my generator, my gas generator. And, gas is expensive. There may be times when I can't get gas for a generator. And those are all things that you have to consider if you're in a grid-tied home too, okay? So what I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be discussing the portable power stations that I use here at my cabin that can be used anywhere for grid-tied homes or for camping or for emergency use, or some of them are designed specifically for taking in your vehicle that can be used as jump starters. So what I'm going to be explaining in here is the different types and uses of these portable power stations. And I've got 4 of them here. Now, before I start, I should tell you that I use these all the time here at my cabin. I don't just get them and then stick them away in a closet. Because I'm off-grid and I do a lot of camping, I use these portable power stations a lot because I can charge them up anytime it's sunny outside. I can charge these units up from my small solar panel system, my 400 watt system, because my main batteries are full. I use the excess power and charge these up, and then I can use them for many, many uses around my cabin. And they basically take the place of adding additional batteries to my battery bank. And because they're portable, they're a lot more convenient for other uses. So that's what we're going to talk about. Now, the first unit that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to talk about these from size range up, okay? And the first unit that I'm going to talk about is made by Rav Power. And it is this little unit here. And it is a 15 watt, try to show that to you. It is a 15 watt power bank, what they would call a power bank. And it is used, it has its own solar panel. Has its own solar panel right on the front there. It has a very bright light in the back, which I'll kind of give you a demonstration here. If I can. So you can see it has a very bright light in the back. It also has a USB A and a USB-C port on it. Now these small units like this, they are generally designed, let me turn this light off. Now these small units like this, I really like these because they're lightweight. And they have its own solar panel, so you can set it outside and it will recharge. Now, it's not going to recharge real fast, but it will recharge it. And it has a USB A and C port on it, so you can recharge your phones. You could use this to recharge a laptop or one of those iPads or something like that. You can use it for running small lights, which I have a lot of small lights, like these solar lights. You can plug these in because they have a USB port on them. And these are excellent for if you just need a very limited power system. And where I would say these are primarily the best use for is if you do a lot of camping, or if you travel a lot, or if you need something for a bug out bag. One of these would be excellent because it has its own solar panel built into it. It has a handle on it, so you can also take this and you could use a bungee cord or a strap on your backpack or something like that. You can hang this off the back of your backpack, and as long as it's in the sunshine, it's going to be getting some sunlight. Now, these will generally recharge like a phone or something like that many times. 20 times you're going to recharge your phones or something like that. And you can run small lights. You can run these small emergency radios, which I keep. And you can take along, these units for camping would be especially great because if you're rough camping in a tent or a small camper or something like that, or you're out hiking, this will be a backup power supply for an emergency radio, your phones, and other small gadgets, equipments, and lights like that, so that you can at least have a little bit of power. And in the event of an emergency, that might be really handy if you needed to stay in contact or try to recharge your gadgets while you try to get contact with people to get help. Okay? These are also, because they're really lightweight and small units, you could stick one of these in your glove box, okay? You could put one of these in your glove box, and it's a power bank unit that can be used anytime you need to recharge your gadgets, your phones, and stuff like that. So it's good for emergency use. Also good for, like I said, for a bug-out bag or an emergency preparedness bag, as some people like to call them. If you need to get someplace and you want to have some power system, power backup, these little units will work really well. Now, they are a limited battery, okay? These are a lithium battery, and they will recharge fairly fast, and depending on what you're plugging into them, you should get, 8 hours of use, depending on that. These are excellent units, and you can pick up one of these. This is made by Rav Power, and I will put the links for all this stuff down in the comments. So they're very reasonable with the solar panel. I really like this unit, and I take this along with me anytime I'm going out where I'm going to be in a remote area, like if I'm camping or if I'm riding my e-bike. I'll stick this in the saddlebags of my e-bike because I can always use it to recharge phones or gadgets or anything like that. Very excellent unit. These are not designed, though, however, for a long-term emergency backup power supply, okay? They are for a temporary limited supply for gadget recharging. That's pretty much all they are good for, but they are very good for that purpose, okay? So that, again, that's the Rav Power 15 watt, comes with its own solar panel. So that's that system. I'm going to set this out of the way for a minute. Okay, now the next one that I am really impressed with, and I just got this, I think about 3 months ago I got this unit. This is made by Hulkmann, and this is the Hulkmann 10.0, and I have done individual reviews on some of these units. You can go and watch the full video reviews on these if you want. I'm just giving you kind of a summary in this video. But this Hulkmann, and I actually bought the Hulkmann 8.5 unit because I live in an area that gets extremely cold, and a lot of times it's so cold here at night, it can get down to minus 15, minus 20 here, that it just zaps the hell out of my truck battery. And my truck battery is kind of old now. It's about 5 years old. And the result is, even though it's still a good battery, it's just so cold that I go out and start my truck and all I hear is grunts. It just won't start up. And that's happened this year again because it's just been so cold in the wintertime. I'll go out to start my truck and it won't start. These units here are actually designed as a jump starter, and they work excellent. Now, I've already used this unit, this 10.0 unit that they sent me, to restart my truck, to jumpstart my truck about a dozen times. Okay, because it's just been that cold there, and because my old truck battery is old and probably needs to be replaced. But I'm nursing it along until spring until I can get another battery. So these units come with the jumper cables. It comes with a really nice set of jumper cables with big, thick, heavy wires. And let me tell you, this thing it's heavy. It weighs a lot because it has a lot of batteries in it. They make two models. The 8.5 is for vehicles that are 8.5 liters or lower. This 10.0 unit is made for any vehicle, even the big diesel trucks, the 10.0 liter diesel trucks. This thing will start anything. Now, let me tell you what's great about this, because I've used this now extensively here at my cabin. I have restarted my truck, like I said, about a dozen times, and I've used, it was on a full charge, so let me just show you here. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. I've only used 80% of the battery, and I've already restarted my truck about a dozen times, okay? And it only uses about 1% of the battery to jumpstart my truck. So that's how much power these control. And they are designed specifically to have the high voltage that you need for cranking amps to restart a vehicle. So that makes them excellent. But that's not where this stops. This can also be used as a portable power station for your homes or in your vehicles or if you're camping, because it has ports on it, which I'll show you here. It has ports on there for a USB-C. I got to look here myself. It has two, yeah. It has two USB-B ports and a USB-C port and a 12-volt outlet on this unit, okay? And what I mean by 12-volt outlet is they also send you this. This is, and you're all familiar with this, these are the DC cigarette plug lighters, your pretty common cigarette plug lighter, which you can plug in all kinds of appliances. Lots of 12-volt appliances, like my 12-volt car blanket runs great off of this. My Alpacool C20 fridge will actually run off of this unit using this plug-in. And all you do is you just plug it into this port over here. You plug it in there, and then you've got 150 watts. You've got 150 watts out of this Hulkmann that you can run, and you can run any type of DC appliance off of it that is under 150 watts. And you can also plug in a small inverter if you wanted to run AC appliances. You can put a 150 watt AC inverter into this unit, and it will run AC appliances. Now, this also has a lot of other features. It has some great lights. I won't show you the lights on all of these. This has emergency lights, strobe lights. It even has a flashing blue light on it. And so these units are very affordable. I think they're an excellent product, and I rely on this all the time here. If you have a vehicle, you really ought to have some type of jump starter in it. Even brand new batteries, if the weather gets cold enough, the temperature gets cold enough, it'll zap your batteries down. Or I take this along because they sent me a really nice case with it. I always take it along with me as an emergency power system that I can use if someone else is broke down on the side of the road or they can't get their vehicle started or something like that. I can use one of these units. You can also use them to recharge all kinds of gadgets. And these have you can see how thick they are. These have a really heavy duty, very long lasting battery, and it will run even larger appliances up to 150 watts. And they have both the 8.5 model and the 10.0 model. If you don't have a really big pickup, you can probably go with the 8.5 and be just fine. Excellent unit, and I am very impressed with them and very happy with this product because it's already saved me a whole lot of misery getting my truck started. And I can use this again for camping when I want to take it camping or something like that, or if I'm out in my vehicle, which a lot of times I do. I go out in my truck and I may go on a day trip and go somewhere and then decide to stay overnight. Well, this unit here is great, and for one of the things that I really like about it is I can use this plug here, and I can plug in my 12-volt car blanket, which I use all the time. And I've been stuck out in the boonies when I didn't have any heat, but if you got a car blanket and one of these units here, you could run a car blanket all night long and probably all day long running it. You don't have to run them all the time. You just run them up to keep you warm, and that might just save your life in an emergency. So I'm very impressed with these Hulkmann units. They're excellent portable power stations and jump starters. So you got multi-purpose out of the Hulkmann. Again, that's the 10.0 unit. They have the 8.5 unit as well. Excellent units. Now, this next unit is also made by Rav Power. And I'll try to set this out here so you can see it. Let me turn on the lights. There. Set this out of the way for a minute. Okay, this is the Rav Power, and it is a 250 watt unit. Now you can see that this is a really nice unit. It's not real heavy, okay, but it's got LiFePO 4 batteries in it, and on the top up here it has two AC outlets. Now that's something that these other two units don't have. They don't have AC outlets. You have to run DC or you could use an inverter on them. But this has two, which I'll try to show you there, right on top. This has two 110 volt AC outlets that you can plug stuff in, and it also has USB and USB-C ports for charging up gadgets. Now this is a 250 watt battery with I think it's a 100 watt inverter in it. A pure sine wave inverter, so you're not going to damage your appliances. Now I have used this and have been using it almost daily here at my house, because what I do, I really like this unit because, for one thing, it's small, it's compact. I can set it on a shelf or put it in a small area. It doesn't take up a lot of room, and plug in my small appliances that I want to run that I don't run off of my main system, like my I've got a Wi-Fi or a Bluetooth speaker that it has to be recharged all the time. Just got to be a pain to have to move it over and plug it in and recharge it from the USB ports from my inverter. So I use this system right here, and whenever it gets low, all I do is I just push on the button. You can see the lights come on. It's fully charged, and that will recharge up my Bluetooth speaker, and it recharges it fast. and then it's good, and this shuts off automatically. One of the things that I like about this is it recognizes when there's no power being used out of it, and it just shuts itself down, so it's not using any power. And I have used this for over a month running my Bluetooth speaker that I use all the time for my computer, because my computer's got a crappy speaker on it. So I use the Bluetooth speaker to have that stereo surround effect, and this recharges that up, and I can just plug it in. And this thing has lasted over a month running that Bluetooth speaker. It will also, again, it will run all of these solar lights, your radios, your power, and it will run larger appliances up to 100 watts, and it has a much larger and longer lasting battery. I have actually ran my laptop computer off of this unit right here, 24 hours straight, 45 watt. It's not a real heavy duty laptop, but I ran that laptop computer for 40 or 24 hours straight just off of this unit right here. So this would be a really good unit for your homes. Okay, this is a unit that you could afford to have as just a small system for emergency backup, for recharging your gadgets, running your laptop so you have some communications, because it's important. If there's a blackout or a storm or some type of emergency, you need to have some communications, whether it be your cell phone or a laptop computer or something you can connect to the internet. It would run a small TV, you know, it'd run all kinds of small appliances. And again, very affordable, and it's small enough and looks nice enough. And that's another thing, is this looks nice. You could just stick it on a shelf and people probably wouldn't even know what it is. But when you need it, you've got two 110-volt outlets, USB and USB-C ports. And again, this also has the emergency lights that are built into it. So if you need a light in an emergency, you'd have one. Again, excellent units. I would not say that they are a long-term emergency power station. They're good for a day of power, you know, around your place, maybe 2 days if you are careful and don't use it too much for running large appliances. But it will run smaller appliances, laptops, recharge all your gadgets, and give you enough power to usually get through a blackout. Most people, the blackouts are generally only going to last maybe 5 or 6 hours, but not always. And that's where we come to this next unit right here. Okay, this unit, set some of this out of the way. Okay, this unit is the generark Home Power 1 station, and it is 1200 watts and with a 1000 watt inverter in it. And this thing has, you can tell, this is a big unit. You can pick it up. Okay, it is portable, has a really nice handle on the front. This has a 1000 watt inverter in it, and it has three. You can see it's got three 110 AC plugs right on the front, and they separated the AC plugs so you can get those dongle type plugs on the front of them, which I really like. It also has a DC cigarette plug port on it right there. It has three USB and USB-C ports on it, and a DC plug outlet on it. And these units can be charged. They also sell the solar panels separately. If you want to recharge them, you can get the solar panels that generark makes to recharge these up. Or if you're like me, I recharge them from my 400 watt system, and I absolutely swear by having one of these. Okay, because what happens is if your power goes out, this has enough power to last you 3 or 4 days for a blackout system. Okay, it will run all of your small appliances. It runs my Alpacool C20 fridge, my laptops, lights, fans. This will even run my Hess Air evaporative cooler. So in summertime, if I happen to be without power or something like that, I can run my Hess Air Swamp Cooler, which cools my entire cabin down. I can run that off of this unit here. It will also run power tools. I have ran my electric chainsaw off of this. I have run my cutoff saws, my power saws, my weed eater have all been run off of this unit, which is what I really like about this unit, because it is portable. It has a handle. I can take this outside when I'm working on a work site or something like that, or just in my yard, because I have one of those weed eaters that have a long 100-foot cord. I don't like those little battery units. They always run out before I ever get done with my yard, and then I got to spend 5 hours waiting for them to recharge. With this unit here, I can use one of the corded weed eaters or a corded chainsaw, and I can go out and work in my yard, and I can spend all day out there working in my yard with this unit instead of running a gas generator. I'm just recharging it from my free solar power here at my cabin. Okay. And what I do is when the sun's up, I just plug this in. It has a charge controller. You just plug into the port, and it recharges up generally in about 3 hours. I can get about half a charge for a day, and that will run me for a couple of days of power. Okay, and if I want to recharge it completely, I can. But generally, what I want to do is I try to keep these units somewhere between 50 and 80% of charge. It's right around there. I don't need to fully charge it up, but I keep it between 50 and 80% of charge. That will make the batteries in these last a lot longer, and I want this to last a long time. And because of that, I can run any type of appliance. I can basically run my entire cabin just off of this unit here without having my main system. I could run everything that's in my cabin just off of this unit right here. Okay, it'll run all my lights, my fridge, my laptop, computers, TVs, stereos, recharge all my gadgets, everything like that. So these are excellent for a emergency backup system. For your homes, or for off-gridders like I am, or to take camping, which is another great use for these. Instead of using a gas generator that's going to use up gas, they make a whole lot of noise. They're kind of stinky. Use one of these. And comparatively, the cost has come down so much on these that you can probably get one of these about as cheap as you could get a generator that has the same amount of capacity in power. And this has a pure sine wave inverter, so it's not going to do damage. You could run a microwave off of it. And I have run my 700 watt microwave off of this unit. I did videos showing my use of the lots of small cooking appliances. I use it for running my toaster oven and all kinds of different cooking appliances. For making sandwiches and things like that. All of those units, all of those appliances will run just great off of one of these units. And it has the DC port, it has the USB-C port, so you can recharge up all types of gadgets. Now, some of these units are not real cheap, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. Some of these units like this are fairly expensive. They're a pretty good investment. But if you have to consider what you would lose if you don't have power at your house in a blackout situation, lost food, possibly not having a communication system, not having lights at your house, this will also run my 12-volt car blanket, and it will run small heaters. I've also showed it running small I can't remember the type of heater, but it will run small heating appliances. So, and even heat up water if you want to. So a unit like this, it's got so many uses and is very well made. This is a very well made unit. I can tell good quality. This has very solid handle, very good material on it. It does have a cooling fan in it to keep it cooled down. So, when you consider how much you might lose if you have a blackout that lasts very long, remember the Texas blackouts, some people were without power for a week. One of these units is really a great investment. And you can, even if you don't have the blackout situation, which I hope you don't, you could still use this for camping, and you can use it for recreation. You can use it to run your power tools outside of your home. And so I really swear by these. They are great units, and I have used this one every day at my cabin here, because what I do is I charge it up when my solar panels, when my main system is already charged up, then I use my solar panels that are producing excess power. I charge this up, and then at night, so that I don't have to use my main system, I will plug in my appliances to this unit right here. And I use it for small cooking appliances, running my laptop, things like that. In the summer, I use it for running my air conditioner, my swamp cooler, and those sorts of things. That takes some of the pressure off of my main system, so I'm not running my main batteries down overnight. That's when I use this system here at the Off-Grid Cabin. And I will be using this a lot because I'm going to start making a series of videos for my Off-Grid Adventure series. And I'm going to be doing a lot of camping in my Vardo camper, which I've shown pictures of. And I'm going to be taking this unit along instead of using a gas generator, because I can go out camping for a week probably using just this unit right here and run the small appliances that I do when I'm camping, like my Alpacool C20 fridge, recharge my gadgets, run my laptop so I can make my videos, recharge my cameras, recharge my drones, recharge my metal detectors and stuff like that. I can use this unit for all of that stuff and have, a good week's worth of power when I'm out camping, along with also having it for backup for off-grid systems. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. I think these are really excellent units. I would not recommend a product that I do not actually use and have used and tested over a period of time. So these units that I'm using and showing you here, I can highly recommend all of these units. The Rav Power units, like this one and this small solar panel power station, very, very well made, well constructed. Small units that are used for a day or so of power, backup systems to take camping or use in your houses. The Hulkmann, I've already told you, this Hulkmann is absolutely a lifesaver if your vehicle is dead. You got a dead battery, or if you're used for emergency power, and with the plug that comes in with it, this would also be an excellent unit to have to take camping with you, or to use you could use this as an emergency backup system for your home, because it does have that much power and can be used to run all kinds of appliances, small gadgets and things like that. But then the big unit, which is what I really love, is this the generark home power 1 system, 1,000-watt inverter. You've got a week's worth of power for most appliances. We'll run all kinds of small appliances, gadgets, laptops, things like that, for either an emergency situation or a camping situation. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. That way you will understand the different types of portable power stations that are out there, and you can make a good decision if you decide you want to get one. I will be showing these more in other videos as I go camping, and so you're welcome to come along on those adventure videos. And I'm going to be doing a new series of videos which I will be showing you my transition from my 400-watt power system, my solar power system. I am transitioning off of the VMAX tanks, which are a lead-acid AGM sealed battery. They have now reached their lifetime. They're starting to show a decline in capacity. So what I'm going to be doing is transitioning over to some really nice ampere time 200 amp hour LifePo 4 batteries, and those are going to replace them, and they give me almost double capacity of what I have on my system right now. So I'm going to be doing a series of videos coming up showing that system and how to set it up right from the ground up. I will show you how to set that system up. So if you're interested in even a bigger system like my 400-watt power system that I use all the time here at my cabin, and can be used for any home as a backup emergency power system, or even on an RV or a camper if you want to set up a system that has a whole lot of power and will take care of you for a lot of needs, then please subscribe to my channel and like it, and make sure that you're ready to watch the new series of videos that I am going to be producing very soon on my 400-watt transition to the LifePo 4 system. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed this video and have a great day.